Hey everybody, this is the Esoteric Cross. I make videos about how to gain your personal power while learning ancient secrets, and if that sounds like something that you're into, please hit the like button and subscribe and gain insight from this perspective in the cosmos. In this video, we're going to talk about the truth of what the Zodiac really is. The Zodiac is very important, and it's so obvious how much we have ingrained these 12 houses of the Zodiac within our culture. We have 12 hours on the clock, which are the 12 houses of the Zodiac. We have the 12 disciples in the Bible, the 12 months in the year, 12 gods and goddesses in Greek and Roman mythology. We have a 12 steps program, 12 inches in a foot. We tend to use 12 a lot for measurement, whether this is of length or of time. This is all relating to the Zodiac and how the sun passes through these 12 signs and how this relates to you. There are so many misconceptions out there about this, and the true esoteric meanings of the Zodiac may surprise you. When we're talking about esoteric knowledge, we're talking about the meanings behind the allegories or stories and how they relate to you and your consciousness. There is a sense of practicality here, because these stories teach you about yourself and how you can evolve, how you can get what you want out of life. Most people have gotten caught up in this exoteric aspect of astrology, which means they take it more literally. This is kind of the same trap that people fall into with religion and taking it all literally. Here's the thing. There is some truth to the exoteric aspect of astrology, but that's actually not what it was intended for. This is not about saying, I'm a Virgo, so therefore I'm very analytical, judgmental, and uptight, but also sensitive, caring, and helpful. All of those things may be true, and we do find that your sun sign does have a correlation with how your mind works, but this really just barely scratches the surface. The real truth about the Zodiac is that these 12 Zodiac signs are aspects of your consciousness. They are not just aspects, they represent a path of your consciousness. They are a cycle. This is a wheel. With each rotation your consciousness goes through, it becomes a little bit more refined and perfected. Everything in this universe is consciousness, awareness, and you are connected to it all. It is not separate from you. The conscious creator of this reality, you can call it God, Source, the universe, it doesn't matter. It expanded this universe, created form, and threw itself into it in order to understand itself. We are like the little aspects of the universe communicating with each other in order to understand each other. We contain that divine essence. In fact, that divine essence is what we truly are. Everything you see, whether this is in the sky, like the sun, the moon, the planets, and the Zodiac, the Milky Way, or whether it's the people that you interact with, the trees, the country you live in, or the world as a whole, it's all just like you. You are made in the image of all of it. This is where the famous axiom comes from, as above, so below. Everything you see on the outside mirrors yourself. Astrotheology teaches us that the true esoteric meaning of the sun is that the sun represents the self, the personal consciousness. The moon is the subconscious because the sun shines light onto the moon and the moon reflects that light onto the earth. The earth represents the physical reality. Your personal consciousness, aka the sun, programs your subconscious mind, aka the moon, and that gives birth to your experience and your reality, aka the earth. Each sign of the Zodiac is an aspect of the sun's consciousness. Throughout the year, the sun takes a journey through each Zodiac sign. And what that means is that from Earth, for example, if it's in the middle of November and you look at the sun, the sign of Scorpio will be right behind the sun. The sun is in Scorpio. It can be viewed as who the sun is, how the sun identifies itself in that particular part of the year, in that part of the cycle. Your consciousness does the exact same thing. When the sun goes through different zodiac signs throughout the year, it has an effect on us on Earth. But also your consciousness goes through the cycle, not necessarily on the same time frame as the sun. Your time frame of your cycle through each of these aspects is unique to you. So let's run through these. The first sign of the zodiac is Aries, because this is the moment that the spring begins. The sun has returned into the northern hemisphere. We will be talking about the point of view from the northern hemisphere because this is where the stories originate and because most of the population on Earth lives in the northern hemisphere. At the spring equinox, the tilt of the Earth makes it so that the sun is shining equally on the northern and southern halves of the Earth. And from the spring equinox until the autumn equinox, the sun will be shining directly overhead of the northern hemisphere, and this creates spring and summer. This is why we have more sunlight. Pretty much as soon as the sun crosses the equator into the northern hemisphere in late March, the sun also passes right into the sign of Aries. Aries is the new beginning. The sun has returned. It is about birth and boldness. New life is growing. The sun is rising more north each day as daylight is increasing. Consciousness represented by the sun has returned with a new insight and this freshness, this newness of a conscious idea. The second sign of the zodiac is Taurus. This is the fixed sign of spring. The life on Earth responds to the sun in this sign by growing life very fast. The leaves come in rapidly. The flowers are blooming. The pollen is increasing. Everything is gaining momentum like a bull. The sun has become the bull, gaining momentum as it is on its way to the Tropic of Cancer, which will be the most northern point it will reach on the summer solstice. Consciousness is gaining momentum with this new insight or idea in Taurus. The third sign of the zodiac is Gemini. This is represented by the twins. They are actually angels. Every time you see a human in the zodiac, it's actually referring to an angel. And angels are nothing more than exalted aspects of consciousness. They are higher states of consciousness, higher aspects of self and God consciousness. There is no real difference. Gemini is all about communication, illumination, and also intellect. Gemini represents your consciousness reaching its highest point, gaining illumination. This is because the sun reaches its highest point in the northern hemisphere at the end of Gemini at the Tropic of Cancer on June 21st, the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. This is representing consciousness being at its most illuminated. The fourth sign of the zodiac is Cancer. Cancer is all about home life, family, and emotions. This is no coincidence that once the sun passes into Cancer, it is building its home. This is because it's the first sign of summer, and during the summer, the sun reaches its full power. What this is representing when consciousness is in its Cancer stage is that this foundation is being laid with this new idea or insight. The sun then passes into the fifth sign, which is Leo. This is the fixed sign of summer. The sun reaches its full force in Leo and becomes a roaring lion. This is the hottest time of the year. The sun reached the highest point on June 21st, but it's during Leo season around August 1st that the sun's power truly peaks. This is representing consciousness reaching its prime after Cancer has built the foundation for it. The sun then passes into the sixth sign, Virgo. This is the ending of summer. Leo is representing the divine masculine of the sun, whereas Virgo is representing the divine feminine. Everything that's happened in Leo is being reflected in Virgo. The sun in Leo has done so much, it has reached its full potential and peaked. Virgo is the sign that is searching for balance. Virgo is searching for a way to organize and create order from the rapid peaking that happened in Leo. Also, at the end of Virgo, the sun is just above this constellation called Crux, which is the cross. Virgo, the Virgin, the Mother Mary, she places the sun on the cross. 3 houses later, or 3 hours later, because they're the same, the sun will quote-unquote die and then be reborn on December 25th. Virgo places the sun on the cross right around the autumn equinox around September 21st. On the date of the autumn equinox, the tilt of the Earth is making it so the sun's light is equal between the northern and the southern hemispheres. The sun is crossing the threshold to go back into the southern hemisphere, and this represents the descent into the underworld, the descent into darkness, the descent into the subconscious. Just as this happens, the sun passes into the 7th sign, Libra. The sun was searching for balance in Virgo, and what that meant is that the sun was reaching the point of the autumn equinox where it is shined equally on the northern and the southern hemispheres. This represents the balance of the consciousness and the subconsciousness, the balance of masculine and feminine. Libra is the sign of balance. When the sun is in Libra, it starts to cool down here. Everything is starting to slow down, and we're having our harvests. This is a peaceful time. Libra is representing consciousness, harvesting the fruits, having balance and joy. Then the sun passes into the 8th sign, Scorpio. This is the fixed sign of autumn. Scorpio is all about death and destruction and transformation. This is the point where the sun is halfway between the equator and the lowest point it will reach in the southern hemisphere. Life on Earth will respond by dying. The leaves turn color and fall off the trees. The crops are dying, and we will have the very end of our harvest. Each day gets shorter, it gets darker and colder. What this is representing as far as consciousness goes is this is the period where your paradigm gets shattered a bit. This is an ending stage within consciousness, or a descending stage. The sun will then pass into the 9th sign, Sagittarius. This is represented by a centaur, half man and half horse. Any time that you see a human in the zodiac, it represents an angel, so this means higher aspects of consciousness. The horse is representing the lower aspects of consciousness, the animalistic aspect, or even demonic. So this Sagittarian energy represents half angel and half demon, half divine and half animal. The symbolism here is to show you that you contain both, and that this is the sign that you discover that darkness. Scorpio brought your consciousness into darkness, and Sagittarius is what shows it to you. At the very end of Sagittarius, on December 21st, the sun reaches its lowest point in the southern hemisphere at the Tropic of Capricorn. This is the longest night of the year, the most darkness. This is representing the lowest point of consciousness and dwelling within the dark. Then, the sun appears to not move for 3 days, meaning that the sun does not appear to be moving back toward the northern hemisphere yet. But it's on December 25th that the sun appears that it's making its ascent back up to the northern hemisphere, and that is why we celebrate Christmas, the birth of the sun. The birth of the Son of God. As this is happening, the sun passes into Capricorn, the 10th sign of the zodiac. Capricorn is represented by the goat. The goat is also associated with Saturn and the Baphomet, but we won't get into all of that here. The main thing about goats is that they like to be in high places, and they can stand on the edges of things like nobody's business. In Capricorn, the sun is ascending back to the northern hemisphere, and this represents a need to be back in a high place, the need to ascend. Capricorn is when you face the darkness that was presented to you in Sagittarius. You face it and commit and work really hard to transcend this darkness. The sun then passes into the 11th sign, Aquarius. This is the fixed sign of winter. Aquarius is represented by a man bearing a water pitcher. Again, when we see humans, this represents an angel, meaning a higher state of consciousness. And this makes sense as this sign marks the midpoint of the sun being on its way back up from the southern hemisphere. The sun is halfway between the Tropic of Capricorn and the equator. This is the sun or consciousness ascending very fast, overcoming darkness like never before. This is a time of year where light starts increasing more. We are gaining a little bit more daylight each day. Aquarius is all about innovation, invention, intelligence, evolution, and building relationships. These are the things that get us through the winter, through the cold. And these are the attributes we display after we have started to face our darkness and we start overcoming it. Finally, the sun will pass through Pisces, the 12th sign of the Zodiac. Pisces is all about dreaminess, flowing, spirituality, karma, and endings. This is the ending of the Zodiac. This represents what we have learned from the cycle that we just went through. What did this new idea teach us? What did the powerful success and order teach us? What did the death and darkness teach us? And what did the ability to overcome that teach us? From here, the sun will cross the threshold around March 21st or 22nd back into the northern hemisphere. It crosses the equator starting the beginning of spring, and this is the return of the sun. Then we have the very first full moon of spring, and the Sunday after the first full moon of spring, we celebrate Easter. Easter is a very important occult holiday. In Christianity, Easter is about Jesus dying on the cross and then returning from the dead. Easter is about the sun, dying, descending into darkness, and then being returned to us in the spring. This is sun worship, which is why we celebrate it on Sunday, the first Sunday after the first full moon of spring. That is still pretty esoteric. The real true meaning is that this is the cycle that is happening within you. Your consciousness crosses the threshold with a new idea or insight, a new beginning. And then the moon, your subconscious, gets programmed with this new insight. The full moon happens, meaning your subconscious reaches its most pregnant point, and then it gives birth to the new sun or the new consciousness, the new reality. And then spring reaches its fullest point as the momentum gains in Taurus and reaches its most illuminated point in Gemini, and then it builds its home for this new life in Cancer, then reaches the full potential in having success in Leo. Then this data is collected and organized in Virgo, then brought to balance in Libra, and then decreases and the paradigms are shattered in Scorpio. Then the darkness is presented to you in Sagittarius, and you're reminded that the darkness is still there. Then you face the darkness in Capricorn. Then you rise above with innovation in Aquarius. And then finally, you have reached your spiritual meaning of the situation in Pisces. Then you cross that threshold with yet another new insight during the return of a new consciousness, starting your spring period. And then the cycle repeats and repeats as you refine your consciousness over and over. This is the true meaning of the Zodiac. These are cosmic energies as well as energies within you, and energies that you embody. Learning this and connecting with it is a great way to be able to not only predict what is next in your path, but also to control what you embody and the way that the path unfolds for you. If you want access to exclusive content and live streams, the link to my Patreon is in the description. If you're interested in working with me, I do offer one-on-one coaching for beginning ceremonial magic. My program is about balancing and working with the 4 elements, and I think this could be very beneficial for you. Just send me an email about my 4 Corners program. My email is in the description of this video. I also offer private tarot readings, and you can reach out to my email for more information. And I hope there was something new that you were able to take away from this video. If so, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.